Hey heathens, it's Gundini, and I got something cool for you this week. With all the different types of concealed carry pistols out there nowadays, why would you choose a pistol over a revolver or vice versa? Today we're going to get into that and dive a little bit closer details and give you reasons why to pick one over the other. So stay tuned. Alright heathens, so why would you choose a revolver over a Micro 9 pistol or vice versa? First, let's get into some details of each of these guns. First off, we are using the Taurus GX4 as a stand-in for Micro 9s, but pretty much all the Micro 9s are running the exact same footprint. You're running about a 3-inch barrel, 10 round magazine of 9mm. That's only about an inch wide. That's pretty much the standard that SIG made with the P365 that pretty much everyone has followed suit with since. For the revolvers, we're doing an excellent stand-in of the Model 642. This is pretty much the most iconic concealed weapon revolver out there, is these J-framed Smith & Wessons without a hammer on there, a hammerless J-frame. This is the stand-in for the revolvers, but typically any J-framed or small framed revolver would be a good option for you for concealed carry. Now we're going to dive in and give you some details why you would choose one over the other. We're going to start with the revolver here because, you know, that's just classy and good looking. So we're going to start with the good looking one first. All right, so starting with the revolver, there are quite a few pros to carrying a revolver over a semi-auto. First and foremost is the ease of use. These guys are simplistic. There's not too many working parts. You have a cylinder here, as long as it is loaded and ready to go. All you have to do is squeeze the trigger. You don't have to worry about racking one in the chamber. You don't have to worry about flipping a safety on and off. These are hot and ready to go as soon as you have rounds loaded up in them. That makes them ideal for concealed carry, especially for off-body carry, because you don't have to worry about, did I put a round in the chamber? Did I not? All that stuff. Second is reliability. Now, the great thing about a revolver is there's not a whole lot of moving parts in a revolver. So as long as it is loaded up with the right caliber and the right powder load of cartridge, this guy should function flawlessly no matter what. You should, as long as you got 5 rounds in there, you can squeeze that trigger until she's done firing. That makes it great for beginner shooters because they don't have to think about anything, or beginner concealed carriers. Third thing, we're going to go with how lightweight these are. Now, this is a Ladysmith, so this is part of that airweight category of Smith & Wesson revolver. So they are very lightweight to begin with. Plus, when you have it fully loaded with 5 rounds of 38, it doesn't add a whole lot of weight to this. So this guy is super lightweight and easy to carry every single day. You don't have to worry about it at all. Fourth reason why you would want to carry a Smith or a J-frame revolver over a semi-auto is the ease of concealability. These guys, the only thing that you really have to worry about is the grip. And that grip is so small that you could easily throw this in a pocket and it disappears. A lot of guys throw them in their coat pocket. Some people throw them in their front pocket of their jeans. This guy is super easy to conceal carry. You could carry it even around your ankle as a boot gun. That's what makes revolvers so great, especially J-frames, is they are extremely easy to conceal carry. And something about this design makes it not stand out as much as like a semi-auto does inside your pants. Just something to point out. Now, moving on to semi-autos. Okay, so the couple pros with the semi-autos. First and foremost, this is kind of the most obvious of all of them, is the capacity. A semi-auto Micro 9 carries typically 10 to 11 rounds in their flush fit magazine, their concealed carry magazine, while a J-frame revolver typically holds about 5, maybe 6 rounds, depending on which model you get, but typically that's the highest capacity that you get. So 10 rounds compared to 6 rounds, I mean, even when you're going on the highest end of the revolver and the lowest end of the Micro 9s, you're still looking at 4 extra rounds in the Micro 9 comparatively to the 38. Next is the ability to reload. These guys, because they are a magazine fed firearm, they are easy to just grab a second mag, stick it in your pocket, and then you just run that in if you needed to reload. The negatives, the thing is though, 99% of the time, if you have to use it in self-defense, you're not going to use a second mag, and if you do, you're probably going to get in a lot of trouble for doing so. But nonetheless, the ease of reloading on this guy is so much more than this guy. Now, there are guys out there like Jerry Michalik that can reload this guy faster than you could probably reload that guy. But unless you train a lot, more than likely you're going to have a better time reloading that one. All right, so third thing, and this one's probably the most important out of all of them. Although failures on these guys tend to happen more often than these guys, failures on semi-autos tend to be a lot easier to clear. Usually you can do a little drop the mag, you can rack the slide, tap the mag back in, and rack it or tap it in. You know, there's a lot of tap rack, you know, things like that you can do to clear a malfunction on a semi-auto, and that usually fixes the issue. With a revolver, the problem is when you have a failure on a revolver, it tends to be catastrophic. Usually it's a wrong load in a round or a sidewall breach or something like that, where it locks up the cylinder, and then you have to beat the cylinder out in order to open it to reload for another round. So typically that puts you out of the fight if you get a failure on one of these guys. So clearing malfunction is much easier on a semi-auto. And then my last point I want to point out is accuracy. Typically, because of the lighter trigger in these semi-autos, these typically have a lighter, cleaner trigger and a much nicer sight picture than most of your J-frame revolvers. Most J-frame revolvers, typically if you're carrying it in concealed, you're not going to carry it in single action. So even with these hammerless ones, it doesn't really matter. But typically they have a very long, heavy trigger pull. That's part of their safety to squeeze it off. Now, also, the sight system is usually a channel with a blade front sight. So as you're pulling that trigger, let's see if we can recreate it. As you're pulling that trigger, see that front sight post kind of move a little bit? That can throw off your shot. Granted, in the cases where concealed carry use is going to be needed, that really doesn't affect much because you're going to be at point blank shooting anyways. So it doesn't matter if your front sight moves just a hair or not. But nonetheless, if you feel more confident at putting shots on target, typically you'll be a better shot than if you feel less confident. So getting out to the range, seeing that you can put cleaner shots on with the semi-auto may make you feel more confident than the revolver. But those are quick opinions on the differences between the revolver versus the semi-auto. Now, the thing is both guns serve their own purposes. I like both guns very much. I'm a huge semi-auto fan. I'm a huge revolver fan. Both are great options for you. I personally really like revolvers if it's off-body carry, or you're going to load it up and throw it in a dresser drawer or something like that, or for home defense for your wife who may not be as experienced running these guys. These are great because this guy she doesn't have to think about. She can pull it right out of the drawer, just grab it, start squeezing off rounds. Will they hit their target? Maybe, maybe not. But the act of the rounds going off will scare off any possible burglar or possible mugger or whatever. So these are great options for that home defense, like stick in a dresser drawer or stick in a drawer, or off-body carry, or throw in a jacket pocket. Anything that doesn't require a holster is probably the best option for you. Semi-autos, their triggers are too light, too crisp for off-body carry, to feel comfortable carrying an off-body, in my opinion, without a manual safety. Now, for on-body carry, I prefer semi-auto, especially if you have a good holster that covers that trigger guard. It doesn't matter if you have a safety or not, as long as you can cover that trigger guard, unless you are a SIG P320 owner. But nonetheless, these are my preferred on-body carry. These are my preferred off-body carry. But these are also all of my own opinions. So let me know in the comment section what you guys think. Would you rather carry a 5-shot revolver or a 10-shot semi-auto Micro 9? Doesn't have to be the Taurus GX4. That's just a stand-in. Let me know in the comment section which one you guys would prefer to carry. And let me know if you think I'm wrong in any of these situations. I want to hear your comments in the comment section. But guys, this is my quick thoughts on the differences between those guys. And as always, I'm Gundidi, and I'll see you heathens for the next one.
I got a God complex. Haters love to hate, but I never feel pressed. Got a lot on my plate, but I never get stressed. I'll take all the pressure like I'm acing this test. And like a damn Freemason, I'll run this nation. They call me a